Hi, my name is Bill Smallman. I'm running for Supervisor for the 5th District in Santa Cruz County. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this film. If you're tired of career politicians and generally unhappy with the situation we're in these days, then I think you'll find my campaign refreshing and on a path to success. I divided this film into 3 different sections. The first section, I want to go over my background a little bit. I don't want to bore you with a lot of detail here, but basically touch on the few things that make me believe I could be a very effective supervisor for our district. The second section, I titled it The Business of the County, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that would like to see county government run more like a business, maintaining fiscal solvency. And I'd agree with that statement, but as a compassionate business, basically the main goal would be to provide the most effective service for your tax dollar. Also in the section, I would like to talk about what I would do to jumpstart the economy. I'd like to create a board of economic development consisting of 1 or 2 directors from each district. And I also have an outline of a list of tasks that board would be assigned and the reasons why I think they would be helpful to create jobs in the county. The final section I want to talk about is the environment and some land use issues and ways to protect our natural resources. My name's Bill Smallman. I need your support and vote in June. Let's get out of the red and into the green. Hi, now I'm speaking to you from the beautiful Lompico headwaters. It's just above the small community of Lompico that I moved to in 1991. I want to go over my background. I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, and I'm also licensed as a civil engineer in the state of California. I have over 23 years experience in public works construction. I've worked on sewage treatment plants, sewage collection systems and pipelines, water treatment plants, water distribution systems and pipelines, and storage facilities. I don't believe that there's a type of infrastructure improvement project that I haven't been exposed to some degree. I'm somewhat familiar with county politics. My father ran and served 2 6-year terms as a judge in Marin County. That's where I'm from. And I've been an environmentalist at a very early age, watching Jacques Cousteau programs and mainly being interested in science in school. And around 2000, this canyon was going to get logged, and I was very concerned about it. Not only does it serve as a watershed for the entire community, but as you can see, it's a beautiful area that's better suited for open space preservation. There's an organization called the Lompico Watershed Conservancy that was able to stop the timber harvest plan on this property. I believe it was one of the first times in California that has happened. There's also another organization called the Supervisor Group that ultimately purchased this property, and I believe the landowner made a lot more money than had he logged it. Because of my concern of this canyon and because of my work experience, I ran and I got elected on the Lompico County Water District Board, and I discovered that I really enjoy being on a board and solving the problems that face the community. I also feel that I have the unique experience of public works construction and civil engineering for somebody that wants to be county supervisor. One, because public works is a large percentage of the service that the county provides to the public, and it is very important for the environment. Steve Jobs said to stay foolish and stay hungry. I'm doing that. I believe that this is my color parachute. Let's see what you think. The next segment is titled The Business of the County. In this section, I want to talk about what I think the county can do to help with the economy. In the process of developing my campaign, I came to the conclusion, and I believe that you will too, that a revived economy would help with most, if not all, issues and problems that we face. It's almost analogous to developing a root system for a tree, to grow branches which represent the infrastructure, leaves which would represent jobs, to grow fruit which would represent the resources to help the less fortunate, and environmental protection. I believe the county can do 2 things. One, since it is one of the major employers, that it can improve its own efficiency. Now I know that there's a lot of people, and I personally know some of them, that work for the county and they're doing an outstanding job, but there's always room for improvement in any organization, and as your elected supervisor, I will seek them. The reason why I titled the film Out of the Red and Into the Green is simply meaning out of the red being financially unstable and into the green having the dual meaning of being financially stable and having money and environmental protection. I know that those two don't get along well all the time, but I'd like to show you how I think they can. There is an organization called California Forward with the goal to make government agencies more efficient. I'd like Santa Cruz County to be a student with California Forward, but more than just that. Like I said, it's just goals, no specifics. We have an opportunity today to make Santa Cruz County a blueprint for others to follow. The key really is good listening and good communication. I'm a 16-year union member myself, and I want county workers happy, good at what they do, and fairly compensated. The county can become more efficient by first looking at cutting out any confusing, conflicting, overlapping, ineffective tasks or rules rather than people's jobs or salaries. The second thing I think the county can do is create a board of economic development. I believe that currently the county has a board called the Workforce Investment Board, and there's a full-time staff person, and I believe his name is Mr. David Dobson, with that task. But however, I feel that a board with specifically targets economic development would be much more successful at creating jobs. The task that this board would be assigned is, number one, they can review business plans and business expansion plans submitted by the public for review and support. You know, many people put up their house and their life savings sometimes to start a business. So it's a huge decision. So having the free service of getting some support from some business professionals could be invaluable, not only to get the business started, but to make sure it's a success. Number two, they can support vocational training in schools. Now this is the job of the local school boards, but this particular board can review, advise, and support by reviewing the curriculum offered. We all know that certain people, college really isn't fit for them, and the obvious superstar examples are Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. Number three, they can invite guest speakers to board meetings. The idea here is to make meetings entertaining and educational. You know, there's certain things that you really can't learn from a book, and if to have somebody that's successful at a type of business that you're interested in would be invaluable. Number four, they can invite outside companies to possibly relocate to Santa Cruz County. This is pretty self-explanatory, and it would basically involve sending out letters and brochures. Obviously, the big prize would go to somebody that would find a company that would fill the empty Borland campus in Scotts Valley. Number five, going along the lines of California Forward, this board can instruct Mr. Dobson to create reports from the various departments of the county and possibly come up with some ideas to make the county more efficient. Finally, number six, this board can sponsor summit meetings or jobs fairs events once or twice a year. On a final note, this board would not escape scrutiny as to its own effectiveness, and it'd be very easy to measure basically how many businesses did it start that year, how many business companies did it attract to the county, how many rules did it implement for the county to become more efficient, etc., etc. This concludes this section. The next section I'd like to talk about is the environment. This is the final segment. I want to talk about the environment. For the record, I'm very much against sprawl. For example, I believe it was in 2002 I was against the Felton Meadows project. It was a 60-unit project right next to the Safeway. Not only because of the septic and sewer concerns that I'm well familiar with, but I'm pretty much against any large-scale development in the rural parts of our district. I know that I said earlier that economic development and environmental protection are often conflicting. So as a compromise, and I know it's not in the county's jurisdiction, I am in favor of the town center development in Scotts Valley. And I do believe that this is the ideal place for any high-density, low-cost housing because one, the infrastructure can take it, and 2, the residents would be within walking distance and could support a large number of businesses, not just a Safeway shopping center. I realize that there's a serious issue with water shortage, which I take very seriously, so I do believe that this should be the last large development within our district. And on that topic, I favor conservation efforts versus a desalination plant proposed by the City of Santa Cruz and the Soquel Creek Water District. My concern here is that money taken away from infrastructure repair of leaky pipes and conservation efforts like storm drain redesign will be used to pay for water that's very inefficiently produced. On another topic, I have been made aware that there's some issues with the planning department that have been leading to confusion and overlooking environmental concerns which need to be addressed. And as somebody that's worked for a general engineering contractor and a homeowner for over 20 years, I do believe I'm the best candidate to solve any problems with the building department in regards to getting permit. I'd like to make permits not only easy, but a worthwhile investment by having informed, well-trained building inspectors, which also follow important environmental safeguards. On another issue on top of that, I am in favor of creating an open space district. A few years back I met with Nonette Hanko. She's one of the main founders of the Mid-Peninsula Open Space District. And I basically learned how they were formed in 1972. If you're against this, and it's understandable because of the taxes that would be required, but if you agreed with me on everything I wanted to do with the economy, then I'd vote for me anyway, because I do believe that I'll have little or nothing to do with this on my first term, because I do believe that the economy needs to turn around first before this even gets considered, and it would require 2/3 of a vote on the ballot to pass. If you are in favor of it, I do believe it's the best tool against sprawl and the best way to protect our natural resources. I also believe it's economically enhancing, not detrimental as many people believe. For one thing, these open space districts are open, willing buyers, so any landowners that want to sell their land or sell easements through their land are going to make a lot more money for it, as we saw with the Lompico Headwaters property. In addition, it'll help protect our watersheds so that the water districts won't have to pay extra money to maintain water quality. On top of that, I do believe it'll help the tourism industry by creating additional recreational opportunities and also business opportunities to possibly create ecotourism retreats. On top of that, it's pretty much a certainty that property values that border the open space district or are nearby will increase. In addition, landowners that are doing sustainable timber harvesting can continue to do so and also possibly be paid to help build roads, parking areas, and trails that would be needed. This concludes my film. Thanks for watching. If you go to my website, www.billsmallman.com, just for fun, I have a quiz and a free raffle. Again, my name is Bill Smallman. I need your support and vote in June. Let's get out of the red and into the green.